All right, we're going to talk about the installation for your brand new iron eater, iron filter here. We're going to go over that. You'll see you have two boxes that will ship to you. The tall box with the mineral tank inside, the valve with the bypass. We're going to go over those. We're going to open them up for you, but that's what you should get. So it comes in two boxes. Inside the taller box is the mineral tank, the black mineral tank. It comes with a cap on the top there because it ships with the media in the tank for you already. The cap keeps it all in there, and there's also a riser tube in there. It also comes with the adjustable base, so if it is slanted when you set it up, you may have adjusted during shipment. You can just lift up on the whole tank and kind of tap on the ground to adjust that base so it stands straight up and down like ours is. In the smaller box that you got, of course, you have the valve, the HD valve here. It's really got everything installed in there for you already for the system. Also, the bypass valve, the stainless steel bypass valve is there. Comes with the upper distributor, and that will go in the riser tube. We'll explain that a little bit. This is an option for the drain pipe. You can if you want to hard pipe your drain line in, this would be a great option. It's female threaded, but we'll show you that option in case you choose to do that. Then, of course, it has the power supply that comes in the white box. So that's what will be in the smaller box of the two. Some things you'll need in order to do the installation. The first thing here we'll point out, we recommend like the flexible lines here for the water supply and water out to the home. Just easy and convenient. So for here, we're going to show you how to use those. You'll need some sort of plumber's tape. You'll also need some sort of lubrication that's good for potable water. Even just some cooking oil would work if you don't have that. You'll need a couple hand tools, screwdriver, wrench, or so, things like that you probably have. And then you also need a drain line. This is obviously a very short piece, but it's 1/2 inch in diameter, the inner diameter. So it's 1/2 inch inner diameter, 1/2 inch ID. We recommend this is kind of a flexible line, 1/2 inch with a hose clamp. But either way, you may choose to hard pipe it, whatever, but we're gonna show it to you with the flexible line and the hose clamp. And that's everything that you will pretty much need for the installation. First thing we're gonna do here now is go ahead and remove this cap. You'll see as you remove the cap, inside there is what is called the riser tube. Okay, it is not attached to the bottom. It is kind of feels like it is, but the media in the tank, of course, is kind of holding that in place. First thing we're gonna do is put this distributor on there on the riser tube and slide it down about 6 inches. We're going to slide that down about 6 inches, and that's the upper distributor there. So remember, it is the cone shape would be up. Do not flip it upside down, so the cone shape stays up. Fit it over that riser tube and just slide it down about 6 inches. And that's the first thing that we're going to do there. After we do that, we're going to hand tighten the valve onto the tank. Just before we hand tighten the valve onto the tank, you can see there's a large O-ring on the outside there that we're going to lubricate. You can see that on the outside there, and that'll make the watertight seal along the white collar here. So you want to lubricate that with that cooking oil, and also you want to center up that riser tube. You see the smaller circle there. Center up the riser tube onto that, and then you're just going to hand tighten that onto the tank. And when we say hand tighten it onto the tank, we really do not want you to crank hard on it. So as you see, I'm just spinning it with one hand. You know, just snug it up, kind of like a 2-year-old would be able to snug it up, and do not over tighten that. You will crack. It'd be easy to crack the valve body there, and you may not get a leak right away. It may be months down the road, but if you over tighten that, it'll certainly crack that. So just like a 2-year-old would tighten that, the O-ring seal will hold the water back. Next, we're going to attach the bypass. We're going to attach the bypass. The bypass has female threads on one side and an O-ring seal on the other. The O-ring seal is obviously going to be attached to the meter side. So the O-ring seal side is going to go towards the valve there. And you can see that there are some clips and screws here. So you might loosen those up a little bit, and then that's going to clip in there. And when you tighten this, and we'll show it to you, but when you tighten this, do not over tighten that as those screws. You don't want to over tighten those. Let the O-ring seal hold the water back. So just snug those up, and make sure you do lubricate all those O-rings. There's one on each side there. So lubricate those O-rings, again, cooking oil or something that's for potable water. and then use the clips. There's also a clip on the other side as well. Okay, so we connected it using those flexible lines. We used a male threaded male to male coupler here just to get our female thread to female thread. So just buy those locally. Use some pipe tape here. Just 1 or 2 wraps. You don't want to do too much. If it does leak after the first time, just undo it, put new pipe tape on, put it on there. And the flexible lines have the ones we have here have a plastic washer in there actually, so it helps hold the water back, which is a great feature of those as well. You'll notice it is in bypass mode as you're installing this, and we'll let you know when to put that to the service mode. I also want to point out the arrows here on the bypass. You can see it on the stainless part there and on the blue here, but that's the direction of the water flow. So the water is flowing when you're looking at the valve on the right side of the valve. That is the water coming in from the water supply. And then the water comes out to the rest of your house, on the left side. And you can see the arrows are clearly marked here on the stainless, and even more clearly here on the sticker by the bypass and out. So make sure you obviously install the water coming in on the right hand side facing the front of the valve, and on the left hand side would be where the water is going to the rest of the home from the filter there. Now we're going to attach that drain line to the drain barb is how we're going to show it to you. And so we're going to attach that drain line there with a flexible hose with a hose clamp is how we recommend it. Typically, it's the easiest way to do it in our opinion. If you are hard piping in your drain line, like we showed you before, there's a female threaded instead of the drain barb there. The way to do that is you just pull this clip out. That's an O-ring seal here, so you pull the drain barb out. This one is just like it on that end. You would put that in, put the clip back in. Of course, with all these O-rings, we always lubricate those, cooking oil or anything that's good for potable water. So if you're gonna hard pipe it, you can do that. And there's the female threads that you can thread into. As you can see, we just used the flexible line and a hose clamp here. Obviously the drain barb is a good strong plastic, but it is plastic, so you certainly don't want to over tighten those. Just snug them up. The water does come out through the drain under pressure, so you do want to have that secured. So you don't have that popping off in the middle of a regeneration or backwash. So definitely use a hose clamp there, snug it up, and then the other side will show you how to connect it to your drain. The drain line needs to run to a drain that's at least 1.5 inches in diameter, and it's a free flowing drain, no back pressure at all here. Have an air gap, so just like this, you can see that we're not shoving the tube all the way in. We're keeping it out a little bit so that there's no back pressure into a drain at least 1.5 inches in diameter, and that is what you want to do with that drain line. Now that you have the iron eater all installed, you have the main lines supply in and out, and the drain line, and the unit is still in bypass. We are now going to plug it in. So you have the adapter here, you plug that in there. You just plug it into the wall here, a regular 110 outlet, and you'll see first thing that kind of comes on, you see the time of day. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you how to do the programming here. The great news is that before this valve left our warehouse, we pre-programmed it for you for this exact unit. So all you need to do is set the time of day. So the way to do that is you just hold the settings key in for 5 seconds. And it comes to the set time of day. And you'll see you just use the up arrow key to move that time. It's military time, so makes it easy so you don't mess up the AM, PM. But let's just pretend it is 3:30 in the afternoon, so 12 plus 3:15. Oops, missed it. So we'll just cycle around to the 15. There you go, 15, and then we move it over to move the minutes to whatever minutes you need to be at, so 3:15 or whatever it is. Then you can move it over. You can even set the time of day. It doesn't matter too much really, but you can set it, so let's just pretend it's Wednesday, and that's the time. So you just hit the settings key, and it'll cycle through. And like I said, everything else is set up exactly how you need to have it set up. Like I said, we already did it for you here a day plus water, so it's already pre-programmed for you. Now that you have your valve programmed, everything is installed, the next thing we want to do is move the bypass lever from bypass mode into the service mode. So you just grab the blue handle here, rotate it clockwise, and you want to move it slowly over the course of 5, maybe 10, 12 seconds, something like that. You'll hear water rushing in the tank. You don't hear, we don't have water set up here obviously, but just move that handle slowly, let the water fill into the tank so that doesn't come in a bursting there. So all the way to service, and then we want to do a couple manual backwashes. We want to do at least 2 manual backwashes, but really you want to do as many as it takes to where the water is coming out clear at the drain line for an entire regeneration. So we say always 2 at least. A lot of times that takes care of it, but if you need to do several more than that, then do it, but until it's clear out the drain line. The way to do that manual backwash is you just hold down that right arrow button there, the one in the middle, hold it down for 5 seconds, and it will start a manual backwash. And that's how you start the backwash. Now, it's gonna be here in water going out to the drain and things. This takes about 45 minutes per backwash. You do not need to do anything else right now. When it's done, it goes back to the normal operations there. Like we said, do at least 2 of these, and but check that drain line. It needs to be clear out the drain line for at least 1 full regeneration there, 1 full backwash. If you do have any questions about your iron eater and you bought from A+ Water here, we'd love to help you. Any questions about installation, anything we're not clear on here in the installation video, programming, whatever it is, certainly give us a call. Love to help you make sure it's installed correctly, programmed correctly. So please just give us a call. You can call us toll free at 877-477-5452. And we would love to help you out with your brand new iron eater.